All right, everybody. Welcome to episode 180 of the Follow-Tonians podcast. Eric here in Lawrence, Kansas. Not anymore. Overland Park, Kansas.
Did you just forget where you lived?
Yeah, I did. Where do you live, Ped?
Wherever I leave my hat, that's my home.
Sounds good.
I don't
like
even
it.
have a hat. I don't even have a hat.
No. Why would you want to cover up that gorgeous coif of ginger hair of yours?
Oh, it's getting so long. It's growing.
Let's show everybody how amazing it looks.
It's growing its exponential rates.
It'd be nice if people watching the video could know who you are, Ped.
It is getting so fine up there at the moment. It's like Ron Burgundy hair. It's the way the way I want it.
Nice.
It's feathered. It's a mix between Ron Burgundy's and the guy in Dodgeballs. It's getting pretty good.
Steve the Pirate.
No, not Steve the Pirate. Oh, you Eric. You Eric, the guy who doesn't know where he lives.
The Irish coach.
I'm just glad. I'm glad you've got your sense.
Are you in a wheelchair?
No.
No.
Patches
Who you're talking about? You're talking about Ben Stiller's character.
I am. What's his name? White.
Dwight.
No, just White. It's not the White.
I don't know.
Idiot. And it's not Patches O'Houlihan either.
No.
No.
Or Tits McGee.
Tits McGee is Dodgeball.
No.
Yeah. No. Anchorman. What?
Yes.
This
Exactly.
burrito is filling. It's good filling. What the hell are we talking about?
I don't want to talk about the Swansea match. That's for sure. I'm trying to dodge the Swansea match.
Duck, dodge, dive, and
Dodge.
I would rather talk about baseball than talk about the Swansea game.
Dodge a wrench. You can dodge a ball.
When's the
dodge-
baseball season start? I love.
I believe pitchers and catchers report to training camp in like 93 days or something like that.
Cool. I can't wait to talk
I
about
know you can't.
amazing.
That's all right.
Good times. Good times.
It was fun. It was fun.
Good time.
I mean,
Remember that time when you become a baseball fan for 2 weeks? That was it.
I did. Now I hate baseball again.
And you stole some other people's tickets to go and watch something that they'd waited 29 years for, and yet you...
Then they should have been able to pay the money that someone else paid to give me a ticket.
Talking of 29 years, let's go back and talk about something that we used to really love talking about. This week was the 29th anniversary of
The Follow-Tonians.
Doc Brown inventing the flux capacitor.
Yeah. I feel like I banged my head on the tank of a toilet right now.
Which means next year, November the 5th, will be November 5th, 1955 was a red letter day in American history.
Yeah, it's when lightning struck the clock tower.
And it'll be 30 years. And I'm still yet to see hoverboards or floating cars. Or
Yeah,
Jaws.
I just want some of the clothing. Some of the clothing that we're supposed to wear next year looks amazing.
It does look amazing.
Yeah, and power laces, fantastic. I cannot wait to not have to tie my own shoes.
Well, I think the big part for you not tying your laces is I'm sure you're finding it harder just to bend over.
Well, that and I've got Velcro, so I really don't need to tie them because there's no laces to tie.
I can actually
Just
imagine.
Velcro.
It's
not even the two strips one. It's the one that loops back around, so it's got it's like a horseshoe Velcro.
Did you buy your Velcro shoes off of Infomercial?
Yeah, because it helps with my gout.
Like, would you you bought bought your Snuggie?
No,
Velcro.
I don't have a Snuggie. I got a Slanket. Come on, Snuggie. Why pay more for the name brand? Why pay more for the name brand? Get a Slanket. It's a blanket with sleeves.
And your 300 songs of the 50s on one CD.
No. Freedom Rock, man.
By Playtone Records.
Well, that thing that you do is pretty awesome.
That's an awesome song.
It
The one
is.
they should have brought out more songs, shouldn't he?
Yes. Then
That
they would have
tune.
been
That tune. God
the
damn that
deuce.
tune.
They would have been the Deucers, I think, if they had another hit.
What the hell are we talking?
Not the Swansea match.
Oh my god.
That's what we're talking about. We're talking about not the Swansea match because it was horrible. It was just boring. It was
I'm gonna eat a
not
fudge.
not great.
Let's talk a little bit about the Swansea game then.
Okay.
Let's do it.
And scene.
Let's get in there. We don't have to talk about the game. We can just talk about around the edges of the game.
Okay. No, even that's boring.
Nothing, just from moments.
Clean sheets for Swansea. First time we've been gone without a goal in the league since like March. So that's not good. You'd think if we got a clean sheet against Swansea, we would have gotten 3 points.
You would think that, wouldn't you?
Mm-hmm.
You would think.
Because we were on quite a good run of scoring goals. But that didn't happen. Not even very many chances.
See, this is the thing about when we play in the Europa League, the weeks we play in the Europa League. I always feel like the game before is the one that I don't know we struggle with more than the one after. I think the one after,
Right.
you know what you've got, and you can. If players have had a good game on the Thursday and they're not tired, they can go into the Sunday. But the one before is the one for me we seem to struggle with. And okay, there's some, the back five for this game picked itself, and McCarthy, Barry,
Coleman.
It's how he uses the people in front of him.
Yeah.
And I just think at times this season, Roberto Martinez just hasn't got the blend right. And I just don't think he's got the blend right in the mix. And
Right.
I don't know whether Saturday was another reflection that, he had McGeady, Naismith, Barkley, and Etu. Now, for me, there's 4 players there that want to operate a lot of the time in the same kind of areas. Now, you look at
behind a large striker.
Yeah, which there wasn't one. Now, you look at McGeady, you think to yourself, there's a player that's going to play on the flanks, but he's playing on the right-hand side, and he's taking up all of Coleman's space. Now, Coleman is like basically our number 1 attacking weapon at the moment. I know Baines is the one with all the assists, but Coleman's the one that sort of gets us behind opposition defences. So there's
that he scores a lot of goals inside the 6-yard box.
Exactly. So that's that. He gets into that space, and McGeady was taking a lot of that space up. So there's that, and then you've got Naismith and Barkley wanting to play, and Etu all wanting to play in that sort of number 10 area. So you've got a lot of players clogging up a lot of space. As good as Etu was against Burnley in this game, he had a good game, but unfortunately he likes roaming, and he likes going into areas where you don't really want your centre forward at times. So you're missing that number 9 or number 10 in Lukaku, who's in centre forward, who's just going to stay up front and cause bother. And no matter what anyone thinks of Lukaku or how he's been playing, he does occupy defenders just because of his size and because they know they're going to have a tough game against him. And I think that's where in this game we lost out. We just never had that centre forward who's just going to stay up front and just occupy those defenders. Because by occupying those defenders, you open
That's where,
the pitch.
Sure. That's where Naismith has made his money this year, is just in the fringe, the just finding a little gap where the guy that's supposed to be watching him is feeling like he needs to help out on Lukaku. So, you're preaching to the choir there. We understand this. I don't understand why people selecting the team don't understand this.
Well, again, I mean, that's his job to try and get the blend right, and it's hard because
Yeah.
really we don't have another centre forward who can do that job. Coney
We
could
only
probably.
had Velios.
Oh, if only.
I mean, he is the Mr. November.
Mhm.
Huh. I mean, turn the calendar to November in the Everton calendar this year. It's Apostolos Velios.
Coolio.
Yeah.
I think the only other player that can do that job is in the squad, or not in the squad, is Arona Kune. I think that he's the only player.
Going to be a new signing in January.
He's going to be like, well, Roberto Martinez has said he'll be back after the international break, which will be interesting.
In January.
Yeah,
Yeah.
March.
He didn't say which international break.
Qatar. So he can do that job. I think if he ever gets fit, if he ever gets off his walking frame, easy because Etu just can't do that job, and nor would I expect him to do that job. He's got a little bit more class and technique to be just stuck up front and doing the doggies for everyone else. But so it's a difficult one, and if Lukaku's not 100%, which he hasn't been up to this point in the season, then you have to leave him out at times. So it's difficult. Naismith can do that job, I suppose, but you don't get the best out of him either. So
Right.
it was a difficult one, as I say. The blend wasn't right for me anyway. Another
And it showed.
thing I would say. Yeah, another thing I'd say as well. About 5 minutes into the match, I sort of turned around and said, "We haven't got a centre back on the bench here. That seems a little bit strange, considering the situation we found ourselves in this season."
Right. And Alcaraz goes up for, well, he doesn't really go up for a header there, does he? More than just Boney just kind of plows through him and his shoulder.
With that arse of his, which is lethal.
Yes. We can back it up a little bit, and Kevin Friend was no friend to either side, because everybody was just complaining. Should have been a penalty on Alcaraz for a handball. I mean, it was a pretty nice save.
Yes, it should have been. It was handball. He was sliding along the floor, and it was handball. So yes, it should have been.
Yeah. It rolls into Howard's arms, and he corrals it and looks down, and he's singing, "Don't blow the whistle! Don't blow the whistle! Don't blow the whistle!" He's like, "Oh, that's a penalty. It's not a penalty. Oh, fantastic! Get it the hell away from me."
It was definitely a penalty.
You can. Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Horrible refereeing that match.
Definitely a penalty.
Got
away with it.
Yeah. So thanks to Kevin Friend, Everton is tops of the table in the most fouled league, above Arsenal. I think they've been fouled 137 times or something like that. It's ridiculous. In 10 matches.
He is just a really, really terrible referee, isn't he? He's just really, really poor.
He thinks he's Howard Webb, and he's nowhere near Howard Webb, and he wants to be Phil Dowd's sidekick now that Howard Webb's retired, and he's just not good.
I just think he's terrible, to be honest. So,
not good, terrible. We each have our own opinions.
Every time we get him, he's just really, really rubbish. But as you say, he was really, really rubbish for both sides. But he was equally rubbish. Well, I mean, that should have been a penalty, and Kone should have been sent off as well. For what the foul. It wasn't even given a foul. Boney.
Okay.
Yeah. Kone?
I thought you said Kone.
Oh no.
Boney.
Why now?
I don't know either. But yeah, bad all around. Bad match, bad refereeing.
I mean, going back to the centre back thing. I mean, I just don't get that. You've got 7 subs. Okay,
One's a
Hibbert.
keeper.
Yeah, okay, Hibbert was on the bench, but come on, I mean, there's Distan, there's Browning, put one of them on the bench for that, just after that
Hmm.
little bit of a security. Hibbert's not a centre back. He's not a centre back. He's played emergency, but you have 6 outfield subs. Why would you have one as an emergency? You should have a centre back on there. I think it's irresponsible not to. And when he moved Barry back, he played well, but he had to drop McCarthy then a little bit further back. Besic came on. It was interesting because it looked like it was going to be Hibbert coming on, but then Besic came on.
Yeah, definitely.
Besic played okay, but
Hmm.
him and McCarthy just don't have the class that Barry has in the middle of the park.
Right.
So, it's actually a little bit annoying that Gibson wasn't on the bench, because Gibson could have come on and possibly done something a little bit different.
Right.
But you're losing something in midfield there. You're changing players, you're moving players into different positions, all for the sake of not having a centre back on the bench. Just doesn't make any sense, that, to me. It just seems
Yeah.
very, very strange. I thought that was irresponsible. Again, I know he likes to be, but a little bit arrogant when he didn't need to be, because you've got Peanut, Osman, Atsu, who all play in basically the same position anyway. You've only got
Sure.
one centre forward, and you've got one centre midfielder on there, and a right back. So, why not have a centre back on there? It's really, really irresponsible for me not having it in there. It brought back this whole question of what's going on with Distan. Have they fallen out?
Yeah, it's really just weird.
Yeah,
I don't understand it.
yeah, and then that leads on to, well, everyone was thinking, well, what's going to happen against Lille, because he's going to have to bring Distan back. So if he's going to have to bring Distan back, then why didn't he have him on the bench for this game? It just seems like really, really childish, and it doesn't work for the team. And surely it should be about what's best for the
Right,
team.
but maybe there's something internal, and Distan was being disciplined, and it was, hey, you've broken team rule. You're out for 3 matches, and this was the 3rd match, and now he's back, able to be selected for the Lille match, and he's back into the squad. We don't know.
Yeah, I understand
Maybe he
that.
couldn't find someone to take his route. I don't know.
I understand that, but I just don't get the idea that you don't get on the bench on the
Maybe it was something internal, and he wasn't. He was told he was not going to be selected.
I don't know. I don't buy that, to be honest. I think it's I think, if you're in the team if you're not in the team on a Saturday, and then you're in the team on a Thursday, that to me seems a little bit strange. I just think that's
Sure.
I just think that's a little bit irresponsible, to be fair.
Yeah, but if, like I said, maybe there's a team rule, and the team rule was broken, and the consequences are known, and how do you go back and change your consequences in a situation like that? Completely hypothetical, completely hearsay, completely just alleged, and throwing this out there, but that would be my explanation, that Distan did something. Martinez said, you're not going to be selected for the next however many matches, and after the Swansea match, that punishment was up.
Yeah, but he selected them for the Lille away game, so it's almost like he'll pick
a translator for these French matches. I don't know.
I just think it's a little bit strange, personally.
Maybe they needed Distan to get into Ballman's head just a little bit, because that thing is very big.
Okay, Eric.
Swansea 0-0. Blah.
I
Move on.
just think it's a bit weird. That's all I can say.
Yeah, it is weird, and so Destan's into the lineup for the Europa League match, along with Hibbert. No Coleman anywhere. Apparently, you'd mentioned after the match against Swansea that he was having a foot problem.
I think he got caught like towards the end of the Swansea game.
Yeah,
And
he definitely did, and it wasn't a foul, even though it should have been probably a yellow card.
So, and he left the ground. He left the ground in flip flops with a bit of a limp. So I don't know if that's the problem with the Lille game, and whether that was just a precautionary measure so he would be so he'd be okay for
Anything into no Barkley?
No, I just think he was moving it around, changing the system, wanting Barkley to be 100% maybe for, the way he's used this season. He's using his whole squad, and he's got a squad now that is pretty much up to speed. Now, Barkley, Barkley's not 100% up to speed. He came back, against Villa, and he's played bits and bobs in games, and he's looked better in some than he has in others, and he'll start against Sunderland on Sunday, I'm sure, and he'll be very, very. Again, tonight he started with McGeady and with Hibbert behind him, and that's a lot better of a lot better fit for McGeady. I think he started with Lukaku, who looked at hell of a lot. He started with Naismith and Osman, and I suppose that's a little bit, you would. For me, I would like to have had Naismith, like to have had possibly Barkley or Etu to create the diamond in midfield.
Right.
Certainly that triangle anyway. But
nobody wanted Osman in there. Everybody on Twitter and online was.
But as we mentioned here, this time was back, and you look at the bench and you think you've got on the bench Etu, you've got on the bench Barkley, you've got on the bench Pienaar, you've got Coleman, as we've just said, who might have been left out tonight as a precaution. I mean, I really hope it is a precaution that he's been left out. You've got those players on the bench, and you think to yourself, well, those players can come into the side against Sunderland. So from that point of view, it's not too bad. And the way Roberto Martinez has approached this tournament this season, he's approached it where he knows that it's not about going out flat out for every game and just you win your home games and you draw your away games and it gets you through, and that's the way he's approached it so far. Krasnodar team was, Wolfsburg, he started with his best team and wanted to go up because he probably thought Wolfsburg were the best team in the group apart from ourselves, and it probably will work out that way, even though we beat them convincingly on the night. So we wanted to go out and make a strong start, which he did. Went to Krasnodar with mixed side, got a point. Went to Lille again with a mixed side, got a point, and then that was backed up by the fact that we went to Burnley on the Sunday and got 3 points. He's done it again. He's put a team out that he probably thought, right, this is the team that can beat Lille without any issues. He was a little bit wary of them on the counter-attack because they were playing 2 out-and-out strikers and 2 wingers who were really trying to have a go at it. So he was probably wary of the counter-attack as well, but thought we can get behind these with a little bit of patience, keep the ball. Now, we've had 64% of the possession in the end.
Yeah.
We've had 6 shots on target to their 2. We've controlled the game. At times, especially the first 20 minutes, it was a little bit boring. A little bit just keep ball, just see what these have got, see what we've got, and just keep the ball. But we got the first goal, and from then on we were complete control, and that the game was won without really asserting ourselves. And we could have put a best team out tonight, and who knows, could have come out really, really convincing winners. Not that we weren't. And then you look at Sunday and you think we've only got a half a team for the Sunday game, so he's he's edging his bets both ways. So for me, even though he's got a lot of European experience, he's handling it really well. So from that point of view, I was happy with what I saw tonight.
Yeah. There's just this kind of frustration with McGeady, and he dribbles himself into like cul-de-sacs and just kind of doesn't really ever have an escape plan. But we did see a little bit more positive ideas out of him today. And the cross for Osman's goal was one of them. Really well worked up the right.
He's an enigma, but he's a winger, and that's what wingers are. He's always been a very inconsistent player, McGeady.
Right.
He's something different, and I think that's probably why Roberto Martinez likes him, because he is something different. And
he's unpredictable, but sometimes that predictability is not good.
No, it's not. But at the same time, it works both ways. It frustrates us, but then it leaves the opponents a little bit not right, not understanding what's going on. We've got a player like Morales who, when he's fit, is...
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that guy.
Yeah, he's so direct and just runs at people and can open games up. And, I know we sort of skipped over Swansea, but in the game against Swansea on Saturday, when he got took off, I thought he was actually coming into the game and could have been the difference, because that game on Saturday was one of them games that last season Deulofeu or Morales would have won for us. A game that was very frustrating, and we just needed something a little bit different to get us the goal. And it was either Morales or Deulofeu this season. Now,
right.
we haven't got no Deulofeu, and we brought Atsu in, and it hasn't quite worked so far. But you've got a player that can be a little bit different. And on Saturday, he flashed one just wide, a little bit of a tricky outside the box, flashed one just wide. Now his tricks are probably more likely to work in the last third of the game than the first third of the game when you're catching people tired.
Right.
So I thought he probably could have been left on Saturday. But for this game, he's playing in front of a player like Hibbert who's not going to go past him, and he doesn't really have to worry about that part of the game.
Right.
Now, yeah, he is frustrating, but he's come away tonight and he's got himself a couple of assists. He's put a decent ball into the box for the first one.
Yeah.
It mightn't have been for Osman, but it's got to Osman. And then he's put in a good delivery for the corner, which we don't see a lot of. So from that point of view,
Osman went from just kind of sourpuss to instant hero, and great finish. Did really well to control and settle that ball and just struck it very cleanly, and we're 1-0 up, and then he goes to the corner flag.
Yes, he did. His silly song from the weekend for his testimonial. But Osman gets a lot of stick, and he gets hell of a lot of stick, and he's easy target. He's always been an easy target. But he does pop up he pops up with these goals, and he mightn't be everyone's favourite player, but he just manages to pull things out of the bag. And at the end of the day, the manager picks the team. He doesn't pick the team. If the manager still thinks he's got a job to do and still can do a job, then he picks him, and that's what's going on. So that doesn't what's the point? If you're going to moan at the manager, he's the one who's picked him, hasn't he? So
right.
So there's no point in having to go with the player. The player just gets on with it, whether he's loved or hated or everything in between.
I don't think he's hated. I think that he just grates every once in a while.
He's just an easy target, isn't he? It's just an easy target for people. Simple as that. It's just an easy target. Simple as that, really.
Well taken first goal for Everton. Second goal comes from a corner, and it's not a short corner either. Great ball in by McGeady, right around in between 6 yard and the spot. So no man's land for the keeper. He's not coming out to get it at all anywhere, and Jags makes a very nice, kind of fake out run near post, and then pulls off and wide open. So
Great.
yeah, great, well done, well taken, and
Great header.
yeah.
I think I've bemoaned the fact before that we don't score enough goals from headers, and our centre backs don't score enough goals from headers and from corners. And Jags has done what he should be doing more, getting away from his marker and putting the ball in the back of the net. So I'm really pleased that he's done that. It's what you want to see. It's what I've been brought up with. So as a watching Everton, so that's what you're brought up with as an Everton fan. You're brought up with centre back scoring goals off corners and set pieces. So fair play, a good corner. We've been moaning about them all season, as I said, and it's nice that we get a decent one in. Baines wasn't on the corners because he was absolutely terrible on Saturday. Absolutely shocking. But as good as he's been this season, set pieces he's been abysmal on. He needs to get out there and practice more. Roberto Martinez needs to have them practicing more. I know Roberto Martinez doesn't like them, but they're a big part of football, and they can be
a big part of the English game too.
Well, it's a part of the game that can in a close game, can be the difference, and you've got to use every advantage you can get. We've seen other teams, they get that 1-0 and might be off a set piece, and then they go on from there and get really, really nice goals. But that's how they get there in the first place. So it's a really big part of the game. I don't care if he likes them or not. That's how you've got to score any kind of goal because it's a goal. So
right, take advantage of any opportunity, and
nice to see it go in anyway.
Absolutely. Lukaku with a chance. Puts it in, but ruled offside in the first half, and mirror image of it in the second half. Except in the second half, it's a lot closer, and camera angles and read. But to me, it looks like he was very close to being level in the second half.
Yeah, I thought it was well onside. Certainly after seeing it again, I thought it was well onside. So disappointing about that. And I just wanted to touch on Lukaku. I know we're going to talk about the third goal now, but I thought he had a great game. I thought his link-up play was fantastic. I thought for the first goal, there was just a little touch-off that he did just to keep the ball alive and get out wide. And he was using the ball a lot better. He looked a little bit sharper. He looked. Yeah,
there's a couple of passes that were short or weak, or they're in the back heel to Osman that was completely telegraphed, and defenders could see what he was doing before he even figured out himself what he was going to do with it. But it's pretty obvious that he's been working on one-touch distribution. Get the ball. You're not holding on to it. You're not trying to post up and keep the ball and turn so much as have the ball at your feet, get rid of it as soon as possible, and then make a run. You're not. Yeah, he's not going to sit there and out dribble somebody yet. That right now, let's just get the ball, link up, release it as soon as possible, and look for it back.
Yeah, it's about doing the basics right, isn't it? And you mentioned a couple of instances there, but there was times when he was doing as I say, neat little one touches, and that's it. It's the neat little one touch, doing it fast and spinning and getting away and getting up the pitch and getting it back into the box. And that's what we want from him. What we don't want him doing is taking a heavy first touch and then getting away from him and him sort of putting himself into trouble. We want him to be getting the box and tight, moving it and then getting into the box. That's what we want to see more of. That's what a natural striker's game is. On Saturday, Boney gave us a masterclass on how to do it.
Right.
Swansea on Saturday, they came and they completely surprised me the way they played. A lot of it was just long ball. They didn't want any possession football at all. They were just getting it into him from the centre backs. He was holding it onto it, and he was either getting it wide or he was spinning the defender. And it was magnificent to watch the way he does it. He's fantastic. But if we could get Lukaku doing more of that, because he should be doing more of that. When you look at how big he is, his size, he should be doing more of that. He should be being able to hold it and protect it and moving the ball a lot better than he does at the moment. He's a big lad. He doesn't use his strength to his advantage. On Saturday, we've seen Boney do that fantastically well. So we want to see more of that. But moving on to the third goal, Lukaku. Go on.
Definitely. I was just gonna say, and he doesn't necessarily lay it off quickly in for the third goal. This time he puts his foot on it and turns and gets his head up. But this goal, if there's a team, the definition of total team goal in the dictionary, this one definitely has to be a reference mark for it. It starts at the back. It's like 50 seconds long of possession and movement. 18 passes? I think I saw you put out there. Everybody touches the ball, and then it's like we're behind Lille's defense before they even realize that Tim Howard doesn't have the ball anymore.
Yeah, I've watched this goal about 20 times. I went back and watched it again and again and again, just analysing it and just looking at it and just seeing, wanted to break it down as much as I possibly could, because I was just intrigued by it. Sometimes when you're watching a game, you don't necessarily see all the build up to it. You just see the last 3 or 4 passes, and what I noticed.
Right, because you don't cherish and you don't soak in and you don't absorb everything that's happened up until the Lukaku gets the ball. You whenever it has, you don't realize what happened the 35, 40 seconds beforehand to get it to that point, because it's just, oh well, it's Everton possession, they're just kicking the ball around, they've been doing it all game, no big deal. Well, it really is a big deal.
Yeah, exactly. And when as you just mentioned there, the first time you really sort of look at it is when Baines gets the ball and gives it to Lukaku, and then obviously you notice it because Lukaku, great touch, great turn. Leighton Baines continues his run. It's a great run, good pullback.
That was fantastic.
Yeah, great first touch by Naismith. Absolutely fantastic first touch.
Well, I mean, even that, let's talk about the ball to Baines from Lukaku, because it's perfectly weighted. We've seen those balls go left, right, long, too short. Defenders cut it off. It's a perfectly weighted through ball, well timed. He's onside by 1.5 yards, and it's just right in stride.
Yeah, it's a fantastic knock into Baines. It's it's something that you'd expect from Pienaar more than Lukaku, and
right.
It's a great run from Baines. You can't put into words too much about how good football that is, and it's a great pullback again. Naismith's on the move, which a player who not blessed with a lot of pace, but if you're on the move, it's really hard for a defender to defend against it.
Yeah. And it's almost, but it worked out in his favor for it being behind him, because it gave him that a little bit extra separation from his defender. And
yeah, it allowed him to just get away from his defender a little bit, and
just that little bit.
The first touch is fantastic because it sets it up for him, but the finish is just fantastic. He just smashes it into the roof of the net, and that's not easy. You see a lot of shots where the striker is off balance because of that first touch, and they don't get a good connection on it either. They put it wide, or they try and hit it too accurate because they can't get the power behind it. But his finishing is absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, kind of reminds me a little bit of the De La Feu last year against Arsenal, where he just roofs it and takes Szczesny's head off.
Yeah.
And it just, it's just pure power, and it's in a place where keeper has no chance of doing anything with it.
Well, it's past them before he even gets a
Oh,
chance.
absolutely, yeah.
He even gets a chance.
It's a
So,
rocket.
yeah, it's a stunning goal. It was an absolutely fantastic goal, and as I said, the keeper starts it. Everyone gets a touch. Every single player out there gets a touch.
Amazing.
It's what Roberto Martinez's football is all about. It's patient, slow, calculated, and then it quickens up in the last third, and
Sure.
that's what he wants. It's almost like you're playing with the opposition. You're teasing them.
Right.
You're setting them up into a false sense of security, and then you hit them. And when you hit them with pace, and you hit them with speed, and you hit them with quickness of thought and quickness of movement. And before you know it,
hit them with robot ped. That's pretty awesome. I like hitting them with robot. Huh?
Pretty awesome.
Yeah, it is very awesome.
You're teasing them, you're setting them up into a false sense of security, and then you hit them. And when you hit them with pace, and you hit them with speed, and you hit them with quickness of thought and quickness of movement.
And robot ped. I'm like trying to tell you, and
you should have just said stop.
Stop. Sometimes it's hard to get you to stop.
Awesome.
So, whenever it clears up, we'll just start with that.
Quickness.
That whole
quickness.
Yeah, it's still Robotnik. Oh man, oh man. Yep. Still Robotnik ped. Everything is awesome when you've got Robotnik ped. Oh hey, the charge has been dropped against the AC/DC drummer. He's no longer under. Just thought you might want to know that.
Awesome.
I know you love the AC/DC.
I don't mind them. I don't mind them at all. Everything is awesome.
Hey, there you go. You're back to normal. Ready?
Yeah.
Set. Go.
We hit them with pace. We hit them with quickness of thought, movements, and before you know it, that ball's in the back of the net, and it's sensation. That's the way that Roberto Martinez has it all planned out. That's the way he wants us to play. That's the way that when we're playing against the opposition and it's really, really slow, and we're saying, come on, get some momentum in the game. That's what he wants. It doesn't always happen. It doesn't always come off like it did tonight. But when it comes off and you score goals like that, it's
very, it reminds me very similar to Lukaku's against Burnley last week. Just boring, patient, methodical, going nowhere, build up, and then all of a sudden someone decides to make a run forward, and again it's Baines making a forward pass, following that pass, overlapping, getting it into a dangerous position, and then capitalizing on it. I like it.
You said it.
I would like more of those.
Mm-hmm. It's all good. It's all good. It's all good football. 3-0. No messing about. And as I said, they didn't present much opposition really on the night. Origi looks very average, which is also a bonus. Barry had to go off with an injury, of course, which
after picking up a yellow card, which was absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah. But you know what? Gibson came on. I thought Gibson was great. I thought his passing range was fantastic. He give us a little bit something a little bit different. He can make he can play a pass that can be like the equivalent of 3 passes. So there's the game speeded up again. And fantastic. Atu come on and wasn't so fantastic, but such is life, isn't it? Hopefully
Yeah,
Morales will
yeah.
be back soon, and we'll have that little tricky speed merchant on the wing that we really, really need.
Okay. Anything else we want to mention about this game? 3 points.
Well, we need a
At the
point now.
table?
We need a point from our last 2 games.
Yeah,
Obviously, Wolfsburg have demolished Krasnodar.
yeah.
So that's going to be, obviously we've got Wolfsburg next. That's going to be a tough one because Wolfsburg are in fantastic form. They're doing really, really well in the Bundesliga as well. We caught them just really at the right time. I mean, they scored 11 goals now in their 4 games. Um,
Mhm.
so it's it's going to be a big game. The interesting thing is, I actually think that we can go to Wolfsburg, actually get beaten, still win the group because I think Lille could actually, the last game of the group could actually um, could possibly get a draw out of them just because of the way Lille are. But next game we go to Wolfsburg. If we get a point against Wolfsburg, we'll we'll beat Krasnodar last game of the group,
Yep.
no problem. I'm pretty sure of that. So I think we can finish on
Yeah.
at
A result
least.
at Wolfsburg pretty much wraps up winning the
Well,
group
it
for
does.
us.
Well, yeah. I mean, a point at
Because
Wolfsburg. A point at Wolfsburg means we qualify. End the story.
absolutely. Yep.
So that's what we want. Hopefully, anyway, go there and get something from the game. But it'll be a tough game. It'll be a very tough game because Wolfsburg will know that is their opportunity to win the group by beating us. So it is going to be a tough game.
All right. Let's take a break. We'll be right back. All right. I got to run upstairs real quick.
Okay. What happened to the footy show? Basically, because of Toffee TV, we have to record it on a Monday. Because if we don't record it on a Monday, we'd never get it out. Got to get it done on a Monday. It takes a couple of days to edit to be ready for like Wednesday. Because if we get it out too late in the week, nobody watches it because it's out of date by the Saturday. So we have to record it on a Monday. So there's not much I can do about that. But hopefully, what we're gonna do is try and start the podcast again for the footy show if we can. It won't be on a Monday, but we'll try. It's just what it is. It's just annoying because I really love doing it as well. So just one of those. I'm just answering a question, Eric, from one of our.
Oh, nice. People are filling in for me. That's awesome.
So I love it as well. I love doing the footy show, but it's just one of those things. It's just at the moment, it's just the wrong time, and I just don't have. I just don't have more time to give. Tuesday nights I'm doing the Blue Room, and then
Then you film Toffee TV like 2 or 3 times a week.
Well, it depends. Sometimes I can be. Yeah,
Yeah.
If someone paid me, it would be a lot easier to do all this stuff, but nobody pays me. So
You didn't have to have a real job?
Yeah, so because I have a real job and have to find time to do it now and again.
Mr. Pedrocks Johnson.
Yeah, so
donate to the Ped doesn't need to work fund.
So, yeah. What can you do?
Anybody independently wealthy out there would just want at night to not have to have jobs, then we can just talk Everton 24 hours a day.
Awesome.
It's easier to talk Everton whenever real life doesn't get in the way. Alrighty. Ready to go second segment?
Yeah.
Why not? Sounds good to me. All right, we're back on Followtonians, brought to you by A.F.C. Services Limited. Can't forget A.F.C. Services Limited because they are awesome, and the Ped's going to Wolfsburg.
Yay. Thank you.
You should be a little bit more. Yeah, you should be a little more excited of that. Bring us on in the grounds footage of Wolfsburg.
I would try my best.
I don't think you're strong enough. They're pretty heavy. Even the little bugs, they're kind of heavy.
I'll try my best.
Okay. Sunderland away.
Yeah.
Should have a pretty well rested squad considering all of the fixtures that have been coming at Everton lately. So Ross didn't play at all against Lille, and Eto'o either. So you would imagine quite a few changes in the lineup from the Lille match. Hopefully Coleman was just precautionary and he's fine.
Yeah, hopefully, hopefully it's a strong team. It's our last game for a couple of weeks, so
yep.
Hopefully
international break again.
This is the last one till what? March?
You said that last time.
No, but this is the last one. So yeah, do you know what? It's really weird. What's really weird about this game?
What's really weird about this game, Ped?
If Sunderland win, they go above us in the league.
Yes.
That is ridiculous.
Well, that's the first part of this season is just 3 points is really important this early on in the league. So let's just get 3 points and we'll go up to like 6th, then we'll be we'll leave Sunderland in our wake.
Hopefully so. I mean, this is a game we've got to really win. You expect to win these games to be 8-0 and got beat back 2-0 by Arsenal. The goalkeeper was making massive mistakes. So then what does he do? He changes the keeper.
Brings in Josie Altidore.
Don't think he did that, no. He changes the keeper, has a little moan at a few people, changes a few things around, and they go to Palace and win 3-1. And not only did they win 3-1, they have 7 shots on target. I mean, 7 shots on target. They had 8 shots and 7 of them were on target. That's pretty incredible. No wonder they won 3. But listen, it's still Sunderland. We still should be going up there and taking the game. And I know we won last season. It was a bit of a dodgy game, and it was part of the run towards the end of the season. But should be going up there and getting 3 points, because for me they're a very, very poor side. They're a very average side, and
yeah, Sunderland's one of those clubs that Everton just seems to have their number. It's like if you're a Sunderland supporter and you see Everton on the fixture list, you're like,
yeah, they certainly don't like
playing us. No,
but I mean, it's picked up a little bit. They've beaten us, twice in the last couple of years. Obviously, home last season and the year before. So,
right. But in the FA Cup, we own them pretty good.
Yeah,
and
it's got a little bit better. But I really do think we should be going up there and beating them, because they're just not a very good team. And as I say, we've got a good mix. We've got a good mix in the squad at the moment, and you would really, really expect us to just get up there, go and beat them comfortably. Try and get an early goal, try and settle us down. They're not a great side. They've got a couple of decent players. Fletcher's
Josie Altidore.
No, he's awful. He's awful player. Fletcher's always a handful. Larson's a decent player. Yep. Jordi Gomez is a decent player who's played under Roberto Martinez at Wigan. Wickham on his day can be good, but you look at them at the back and you just think, you're not good. You're not very good.
No.
No. So
yeah, they've conceded quite a few goals this year.
They started the season decent. They were getting draws, and they were all 0-0 draws, and they were doing okay. And then obviously suddenly they just started losing games, and the Southampton game was just one of those games where the keeper was absolutely terrible, and everything they seemed to do, just nothing happened for them. And
right,
it was just one of those games, I suppose, for them. But again, if you want to finish in the top half, in the top 4, top 5, you've got to be going to places like Sunderland and beating them, because they will be finishing in the bottom quarter of the league. I would say they're not a very good side. They haven't got very good players. The crowd are not one of those crowds that sort of get right behind them. They probably will be on Sunday because they've won a game, but they're not someone who will sort of, if the team's not bad, they just turn up and just sit there basically and just bemoan the fact that they're playing poorly, rather than like trying to inspire them to get them, the win. It's
kind of like City fans.
Yeah,
City fans don't even show up.
It's a bit harsh.
Well, truth hurts.
Yeah, so it's going to be a tough game, but for me, I just think we should have too much for them. So I'd be very, very disappointed if we were to get beat by them. And again, as I say, it's one of those games where you look at it, and because there's a couple of weeks till the next game, you're just like, please, we've got to win, because otherwise I can't handle that for 2 weeks. And a team as poor as Sunderland would go above us. Whereas if we get 3 points, we're looking. We come back from the break and we're looking up at the big next set of fixtures and thinking, right, we get a good run here, keep this run going. We're going to be bouncing around the top 4, because it's all there, it's all wide open.
Yeah,
Arsenal,
we're 9th on 13th. Arsenal's in 4th on 7. That's 4 points.
Exactly, and we're all. Well, nothing's won in November or December, or, but you want to stay in touch.
Right.
You want to keep that gap as small as possible.
Yeah, teams above us: Spurs, Liverpool, Swansea, West Ham, Southampton. I mean, all of those teams are teams that beginning of the year we should be above. I would think, looking at the squads and everything that people brought in and what they lost, especially with Southampton. It's amazing that they are where they're at. Um, you just want to know if there's a bubble that's gonna burst for them. Uh, yeah, other than Chelsea, I mean, even Man City looks vulnerable. But
Everyone, apart from, as I say, I mean, I always thought it was going to be Chelsea and City, really, and
right,
I suppose City will end up being up and around there. But no one really has impressed me, and the fact that we haven't had the greatest start and we're still bouncing around there. And as I say, 3 points on Sunday is what we should be expecting, and we should be getting, really.
definitely.
Because regardless, I don't take any of the fact that we've played in the Europa League. I don't take that whatsoever. I don't think that should be any that shouldn't be an excuse for anybody.
Right. It's kind of interesting. You mentioned Arsenal. They're on 17 points, 4 points above us. But if you go 4 points below us, that's drop zone.
Exactly. It's crazy.
It's just so weird. But yeah, and it's 10 matches into the season, and there's 8 points separating drop and Champions League after 10 games. There's only 8 points separating.
And the thing about it is, though, we're coming into the period now where that starts to get stretched a little bit. So that's
right.
why.
And so we need to make sure and get our hooks into those above us, and get pulled up with them instead of getting drugged back down.
Definitely.
Because it could happen. It could happen very easily.
And plus,
we've lived it for many years.
This is it, isn't it? We need to be up there. We need to be up there winning games and, making sure that we're there, and that's how you stay. That's how you get up there. And that's how you stay there, by winning football games. So, obviously, it was a disappointing game last week against Swansea. So let's go out there and pick up 3 points against a team who really will be worse than they are.
Yeah, because after the break, November is busy. So we go to Sunderland, then we got a break, and then we host West Ham, we go to Wolfsburg, and then we go to Spurs. So West Ham and Spurs right now, 2 teams that are above us. Yeah, but I think those are 2 winnable games.
Definitely,
it's gonna be lots of fun. You know what else is lots of fun, Ped?
Go on.
Leon Osman contract extension. No?
Plead the fifth.
Plead the fifth. Yeah, you were probably thinking, oh, come on. Why are we announcing this right now?
I don't care.
Before a Europa League night match at Goodison. Oh, but then he scored. So, hey, all right, good job. Who else should we sign to a contract extension to get them to score goals for us? Can we give Hibbert another one?
I honestly don't care. Honestly, I just don't care either way about this. It just doesn't bother me. It's just
I mean, if the manager thinks he's worth another year and he's got something to contribute, then fine, I guess.
It's just another year. It's just I'm not going to start getting angry about it, because.
Can we get Destan another extension?
Not sure about that, but
probably not.
Osman's has done tonight what he's done all the way through his career. He's answered his critics, basically, in probably the only way he knows how to. So
by smashing it one past the keeper.
So fair play to him. That's it, isn't it? That's.
Well, I think we should just question him more, and that way he can answer like that again, over and over again.
Yeah, it's just a year contract. It doesn't really make him a difference, you know. The manager obviously believes that he's worth another year, and who are we to argue? You know, that's what he does. He comes off the bench, or he plays in a squad. He's not a first team. You know, he's not in the first 11, but it's not about first 11s now. We know this. We know it's a
Right.
squad game. We know it's about rotation. This is what football is. This is when you're playing more tournaments. You need more players, and the manager obviously feels that he is a player that is worth having around the squad, and for probably more than just his football ability. So that's fair enough. I don't see any problem with it. There's games where I do think to myself, why are you starting? But then he'll do something of some worth, I suppose.
Right.
But if it was the point where you're playing really big games and he was like starting all, and then I would be a little bit worried about the manager's sanity. But he obviously doesn't.
Sure.
I suppose it's a little bit like Tony Hibbert. He comes in and does a job when he needs to, but he's not
Yeah.
not the starting right back. But he does a job, and he's not the same player as Seamus Coleman, but he does things
Right.
differently. And I suppose it's the same with Leon Osman. And there's games when he doesn't start and he comes on and plays 20 minutes, little 20, and he can be really important in them 20 minutes. So it's not really anything to worry about, And apparently his book says that up till last season he was on practically buttons anyway. So I don't think as a player he's cost us too much over the years. So maybe
Right.
he deserves a little sort of end of career bumper
Lining
pay.
up the pockets. Yeah. Wallet fattening up.
Mm. Nah, we don't always we're not always aware of sort of how important team spirit is amongst players. So he's a player that obviously contributes to that. So from that point of view, again, it's important to have these players in the squad. I mean, that's what we're always told anyway. It's important to have players around the squad who,
yeah.
are good for morale and good for good for keeping everyone's spirits up, and also educating other people about what it means to play for Everton and what their responsibilities are within the club. So it's nothing to get angry about. It really isn't. Nothing to get angry about.
Keep scoring goals, Ossie. Fine with me.
Keep doing it, Ozzy. Keep doing it.
Yeah. Do it, man.
I don't know what you're doing, but just keep doing it.
Yeah. Don't write any more books.
Listen, I don't. His book might be good for all I know because I haven't read it.
You're right.
Because no one sent me for free.
No. We went over this
Damn
last
you!
week.
I know, but maybe if I say more, people will say, "Get that guy a book. Get that guy a book, Dad."
Right. It'll be interesting to see how Tim Howard's book's received coming up.
Yeah.
All right, man.
I'm sure it'll sell more in America than it will here.
Yeah. Probably. Nobody knows who Leon Osman is over here.
Yeah. No one knows who he is outside.
Of
Villain.
Liverpool.
Probably. Yeah.
Okay.
There you go.
Sounds good to me. There's nothing else to talk about, is there?
There's not much else going on, is there?
No.
It's just games, and more games, and
International break, so.
there's not much else going on.
All right. Thanks for listening, everybody. Much appreciated. Top of the table in our Europa League group. That's pretty good. Controlling the result at Wolfsburg, and we're definitely through to the knockout stages. A win at Wolfsburg and we win the group. A draw at Wolfsburg and we pretty much win the group. Just would need a win against Krasnodar or to just match whatever Wolfsburg does against Lille. All exciting times. It's good to get the win.
Eric, you sound bleeding suicidal.
I'm I'm not. I'm happy.
Top of the group, and everything's going great. And
I was trying to see if I could make you fall
God
asleep.
damn it! When's the baseball season back? God damn you! When is the baseball season back? I miss my Royals. I miss my 2 weeks of happiness watching baseball.
There's no crying in baseball, Pet. All right, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. We'll talk to you
I
in
miss
2
baseball.
weeks. Come on, you Blues. Let's go.
I miss your baseball. Oh my gosh, guys, I'm a motion.
I've turned it off, Pet. You can stop it now. Bye, everybody.